Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the HR TailorMade live series, Conversations with Consultants. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Slater, and I am the CEO of HR TailorMade, the HR solution for small businesses. And today, my guest is Dan Iadevito, and he is the VP and Business Banker Team Lead. That is quite the title, Dan. For Enterprise Bank and Trust. So, Dan, I am so excited to have this conversation with you today.
I am as well. Thanks so much for having me, Dr. Slater. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, for joining us. So, Dan, do us a favor. Tell us what you do. And, well, first of all, tell us who you are besides Dan.
Sure. So I'm Dan Iadevito. As you said, I'm Vice President, Business Banking Team Lead at Enterprise Bank and Trust. So what that means is that I build relationships with small business owners, and I also lead a team of bankers in St. Louis that do the same thing. So we're out in the St. Louis community developing relationships with small business owners and finding ways to bring value to their businesses. So that's the professional side of it. As far as the personal side of it, I like to think, as you can see on my LinkedIn profile, I'm the world's greatest uncle.
Yeah.
I have 8 nieces and nephews that I love to spoil. I also love to run. I love to be in nature and just be involved in different organizations in the St. Louis community.
I love it. That is so cool. I love that you take your role as uncle very seriously because I tell you what, I am super close to my two aunts, and the world is not the same without aunts and uncles. I'll tell you that. So thank you for being awesome in that regard. So Dan,
Absolutely, it's incredible. My oldest niece just graduated high school, which is, I don't know what that says about me and my age, but it's crazy to think that she just graduated high school.
I
So
know
they grow up very quickly.
they do. They really do. I agree. Well, thank you for sharing that. So, Dan, tell us about Enterprise Bank and Trust and why is it the premier bank for entrepreneurs and small business owners?
Yeah, great question. So Enterprise Bank and Trust was founded just over 30 years ago in St. Louis, Missouri. So we are still headquartered in St. Louis. And we were founded by 3 business owners, such as yourself, that decided that there wasn't really a financial institution in St. Louis that focused on privately held businesses. So that was the concept that they created in 1988. And, a lot of things have changed in the last 33 years. But the one thing that stayed consistent is our, client-centric approach to guiding people to a lifetime of financial success. So, it's really exciting. I've worked for a couple of different banks over my years in banking, and Enterprise Bank is the one that I feel really allows us to spend the time cultivating really deep relationships with business owners, which is exciting.
That is really exciting. And one of the challenges I have, which is the reason why I was like, oh my gosh, you'd be such a great guest. One of the challenges I have is I don't know how to build a relationship with a banker. And like, if I don't need a loan, what do I do? What do I call you and talk about? How do I develop a relationship with you so that when I get to the point when I might need a loan for something, you know who I am? How does that work?
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of confusion happens, because a lot of people, I think that I do loans, and we certainly do. But I actually have colleagues that work on the lending side that I get involved when there's a loan need. So we're actually out there just building relationships with small business owners, to show them what a banking relationship can be like, even if you don't have a lending need, and to talk about what that might look like. So maybe you don't have a need for a loan today. Maybe it's 12 months or 24 months out, but you should be talking about it today. So that way, you know what kind of things we're going to look for, and you can start preparing for that ahead of time. So as far as building that relationship, I think that's the exciting thing. And, if you haven't had a strategic partnership with your bank before, you may not know what that looks like. And it can be a hard thing to define. But, I look at it as, is your banker one of the top 3 people that you call when there's an exciting opportunity that's coming before you, or maybe a challenge that you're trying to overcome. And certainly in the last, 15 months, all small business owners have encountered more challenges than they ever
Oh, yeah.
anticipated. So
Yeah.
was your banker one of those top three people that you called when things got a little challenging to have that
Mhm.
conversation? And if they weren't, why is that?
Yeah.
And also just from the relationship standpoint, making connections, helping you to build your business, whether it's increasing your
Mhm.
network or finding people for you to do business with, and also having access to valuable insights about your industry
Yeah.
that can be provided to you rather than you spending your valuable time going out there and trying to
Mhm.
research, what's going on in the HR field, and what are
Mhm.
other, what are your competitors doing that maybe you should be aware of.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's really helpful because it can be intimidating to, well, I won't say intimidating, but it can be uncomfortable to just like pick up the phone and call this person that you see twice a year, maybe if you go in the bank for something, and just start talking about some of the challenges that you're having in your business. So how do you get to the point where you're comfortable having those conversations? I mean, do you, for example, for me, I'm not really having any challenges that I need to talk to a banker about, right? But I do want to have that relationship. So, one of the things that I think is pretty cool. So, I opened a savings account with you guys yesterday. So, thank you for
Congrats.
introducing me to Enterprise Bank and Trust. And I had a wonderful experience with the assistant bank manager. I think the assistant branch manager, and I'm saying to myself, okay, so how do I keep this relationship going? I don't need a loan. I don't, have any financial troubles. So I guess that's the question I'm asking. What are some of the things that I can call her for that I'm not necessarily aware of?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have my cell phone number, so you can call or text
Yeah, that's
me anytime. And it's a two-way street. I think part of it is
yeah,
you finding, things that you may reach out for, and also having a banker that's proactively reaching out to you.
yeah.
And I was actually thinking when I was preparing for this call, and I'm like, I need to send Dr. Slater some information about your industry,
Mhm.
and some of the points that maybe you should be aware of, and considering as you are, currently growing and scaling your business. So
Yeah.
I think it's partly you to reach out when you have something, that you need or that you have
Mhm.
questions about or want to bounce something off of. In the small business world, and the reason why I love small businesses is because for small business owners, it can somewhat be a lonely road and isolating because it's a lot of times you're the salesperson, you're the bookkeeper,
Yeah.
you're the marketer, and you're also the person that has the talent and the skill set to do what you're doing. Whereas large companies, $100 million company has a C-suite and has a senior leadership team, so that can be lonely for business owners. So you have to find those strategic partners,
Yeah.
that you are on their mind, and they're on your mind, that you can build that relationship with, that can
Yeah.
provide you that support. So that could be your banker, it could be your business
Yeah.
coach, it could be your marketing company, your accountant, your bookkeeper. So you have that team of people that you need to surround yourself with that know your
Mhm.
business.
Yeah.
I always like to ask new clients what their dreams are and what their
Yeah.
goals are for their company,
Okay.
which for me are two very different things. Your
Mhm.
goals are generally different than your dreams, but what those are, so that way when we know that, we can help guide you down that
Mhm.
path. And if there's insights or resources that we come across, that we can be thinking about that and reach out to you,
Yeah.
because we know you and we know your business.
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. And so should we dump the banks that don't call us?
I'm not saying you have to dump the banks. I've worked for a couple different banks, and they've all been great organizations, and they've all had their niche. And I just find, we can do transactional. If you need a place to deposit checks and write checks, we can do that. But that's really not where we thrive. We thrive with knowing you, knowing your business. Speaking to you regularly throughout the year,
Yeah.
being available when things like the pandemic happened and PPP came up, and that was the biggest concern that I heard from people that were at other banks was like, I put in an application, I have no idea who to contact. I'm calling, no one's answering.
Yeah.
You have my cell phone number, so if you put in
Right.
an application, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
So, you have to find what's right for you. And I think to the
Yeah.
point earlier, if you haven't had a banking relationship before, a true strategic partnership, you
Yeah.
don't know what you're missing. So I think have those conversations, start looking into that, because it's better, whether it's a line of credit or being prepared for a pandemic, it's better to be prepared before it happens than wait until the last minute and then trying to get a hold of someone to figure out how you can get a line of credit for your business.
Yeah, I love this. This is just a really great conversation because I'm telling you, I really struggled with it. And I'm like, I know I need to have a relationship, but I don't know how to go about it. So kudos to you because you reached out to me for something completely different, but you still took the opportunity to take that relationship just a step further. And as a result of that, I am now a customer. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the trust you placed in us. And that's what I love about what I do, making connections and finding ways for small businesses to help build their businesses is exciting to be,
Yes.
just a small part of your journey as a business owner.
Absolutely. I agree. And I'm not here to sell anybody on any bank, but I will say that the experience that I've had with you and at the branch yesterday was just really good. I felt very welcome. I felt like they wanted me to be there. And that's, something that I think that everyone should feel and experience when they are developing a banking relationship because essentially we are allowing you all to use our money. So, so at the end of the day, we should all, even if it's $20, everybody should be treated like royalty when we walk into a bank. And that's not always the case, but I did feel really great interacting with your team yesterday. The other cool thing, and I don't know if this is true of all of the branches, but the other cool thing was she mentioned to me, she's like, hey, if you ever need to have a meeting space, you can use our conference room, you can use our lobby if it's before business hours. I'm like, I would have never thought that a bank would do that. But that is just so cool. So, how did you all? I think that's a great concept.
Yeah, I mean, we realize that we're a part of the community. All the communities that we serve, whether it's in St. Louis, Kansas City, Phoenix, New Mexico,
Mhm.
California, we realize we're a part of the community and we couldn't do what we do without having clients.
Yeah.
So, any resources that we have, and we just recently published our community impact report for 2020, which was really kind of a reset for me to take a look at that and realize that even in the midst of all of the chaos of 2020
Yeah.
and everything that we were doing with PPP loans and working with clients on getting lines of credits established, that all of our team members were still out in the community volunteering their time, making donations to charitable organizations that the bank matches. So whether it's letting a small business client use our conference room or providing a donation to an organization in our community, that to your point, that culture has been built through and through all of our associates and through the organization, and that's really important to us, that you have the same experience with me that you have with someone in the branch, that you have with someone when you call our support center. So I'm glad to hear that was the case. And we do realize that, you are giving us deposits, which are important to us, which is another thing that I think a lot of small businesses miss out on, is that there's a lot of treasury and cash management solutions, which is really where I specialize in getting deep with small business owners on how to utilize those solutions better. That for larger commercial customers cost quite a bit. And we've realized that a lot of small businesses have deposits with us that are of value, obviously, so we can make loans in the community. And on behalf of that, we then provide cash management solutions at a significant discount. So you can use, the technology and the solutions, that a much larger company is taking advantage of. So that's, again, one of those conversations that it's important to have with your banker to find out what is available to you, because the less time you can spend doing your banking and collecting your receivables and depositing checks and writing checks, the more time you can spend doing what you do well and probably what you enjoy doing better.
Exactly. And that is not sitting working in QuickBooks for hours. So thank you for that. So what are some
Absolutely.
of the other benefits that the community at large or just some of your clients will receive as a result of what you all offer for small businesses at Enterprise Bank and Trust?
Yeah, I think part of it is the cash management solutions. We really dig into how you're doing those procedures and looking for ways that we can move things to electronic platforms to help streamline your business, create efficiency, prevent fraud and risk. A lot of businesses don't. We have a couple-page brochure on a fraud prevention checklist that business owners should be going through at least yearly to identify areas that they have of exposure or potential fraud. So that's a big piece of it. And just really being proactive about preparing your business for opportunities or challenges. A lot of our clients had the ability to be prepared for 2008 before it happened, and had the ability to be prepared for 2020 before it happened, because we try to proactively think through what kind of access to cash and capital they need, so that way they have it before it's too late. So those I think would be the biggest pieces of it, and just the fact that it's not just a banking relationship. Again, we're really involved in the community, so taking a look at what your bank is doing to support organizations, whether it's not for profits or interns, bringing in new strong individuals into the organization. So yeah.
I love that. So talk to me about, well, I have two questions. So one is, I have clients that still send me checks, paper checks. As a small business owner, it's not that big of a deal, but who likes going to the post office like all the time now, right? How do you handle that? Like, what advice would you give me to get those clients to pay me electronically? What would you suggest?
I think it's a multifaceted approach. I think part of it is, especially with early stage companies, I always strongly recommend that they make those considerations in advance, because the better set up your business is when you get started, the easier it's going to be. So rather than waiting until you're 20 years old and then you've got hundreds of customers and you're trying to convert them to electronic format. So, there are means out there. ACH module is a really common one that you can use to transfer money electronically, and you can initiate that on your end. So you get your clients to approve you collecting it from their bank, and you do it automatically. And it's also great for them because, as a business owner, I always use rent as an example. If rent's due on the 1st of the month, you're writing that check on the 20th of the month, you are without that money for 10 days. If you can switch it to an electronic transfer through ACH, you can initiate it the day before it's due, and you free up 5 to 8 or 9 days worth of cash flow. And if you multiply that over 12 months and then multiply it over however many different vendors you're paying, that can have a significant impact on your cash flow, which may mean that you may not need to use a line of credit as much, or you may be able to hire that employee, or start working on a new revenue stream that you didn't have the cash flow to do before. So that's really key. And having that conversation with your client, a lot of times they appreciate it, because then it's keeping the money in their account longer, because they don't have to pay you until the day that it's due. So it's really a dual benefit to the client and to the company.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And so those are things that we can come to you about. Can we talk to those things with our business banker as well? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. And that's really, my colleagues on the lending side specialize on lending and underwriting and ratios and margins and all those good things. And me and my team specialize on the depository side. So really helping you understand how you can utilize those solutions. And what I find oftentimes is when businesses get set up with those, 3 months or 6 months down the road, they're needing to come back and revisit some of the limits that we set up, and increase those, because they're finding more and more uses to pay electronically, and just the benefit that it has, again, on their cash flow is really incredible. And talking through how cash flow works, what you should be paying for out of your checking account, what you should be paying for with your corporate card, what you should be using your line of credit for, and really maximizing that to get the most benefit from rebates and cash flow and no interest periods.
Okay. All right. Well, awesome. So should I be like expecting a phone call from you so you can help me set up my life?
Absolutely. And we need to talk through some insights as well. And I think, that's one area that's really exciting. We have a ton of resources that we've created. Our marketing department has done a phenomenal job of really researching what kind of challenges business owners are facing, and going out there and doing the research and polling customers and putting it together in a really great marketing piece that we provide to our clients at no cost, as well as insights. We have access to industry databases, where I could tell you, if you're looking to sell your company, what kind of evaluation you should be looking for, or what kind of margins you should be looking to achieve to keep up with some other people in the same industry, or what kind of challenges the industry is facing. So that's definitely a conversation that we'll be having in the future, and something that people may not be thinking about talking to their banker about, but the information is available.
Yeah, this is just great information. So thank you so much. I'm sure that tons of people have some of the same questions because the only loans I've ever needed were for my car and my student loans and my house. That's it. So, and I would imagine that so many people have the same experience that I have. And so this is really helpful. Thank you. One last thing, tell us about Enterprise University. I think so many people would be able to benefit from that.
Yeah, Enterprise University is something we've been doing, I want to say, for close to 15 to 20 years. And it is a program that we put in place because, again, we realize the more education and knowledge we could provide to business owners, the more successful that they would be. So we started having 2 semesters a year, and we have probably 25 to 30 classes each semester.
Mhm.
And they're offered at no cost to the business community. So it can be anything from a business owner to, education is expensive. If you've ever looked at classes for employees of businesses to take, it can be pretty expensive. So you can send your employees to these classes, and it's everything from education on how to use QuickBooks to changes in HR law to how to delegate more responsibly, to create efficiency in your business,
Yeah.
to leadership classes. All different types of topics. So, and they're not taught by me, they're not taught by bankers, they're taught by professionals. And I do believe that you're going to be teaching a couple classes at our
Yeah,
fall semester. Is that correct?
I am. I'm really excited about that. But that is not why I asked you to talk about Enterprise Bank. I mean, Enterprise University. I think it's a great opportunity for people to learn about things that they don't know that they need to know about, if you know what I mean. It's like we don't know what we don't know. So pick up the Enterprise University, not pick it up, but go on to the Enterprise Bank and Trust website and look up the classes so that you can learn something new, stay fresh as a business owner, entrepreneur, so that you can continue to grow your team, and therefore grow your business. So, Dan, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. I will definitely be in touch with you. And is it okay for people to reach you via email?
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me via email, LinkedIn, my cell phone number. You can call or text. I'm a big texter,
Uh-huh.
so you're welcome to text me however you like. Any resources I can provide, any connections I can make, I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
And I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you in the holding space. I can't think of the name I want to call it right now. I'm going to put you in the green room for just a second.
Sounds great.
So,
Thanks, Dr. Slater.
thanks so much, Dan. So this was just a great conversation with Dan Iadevito of Enterprise Bank and Trust. I hope that you enjoyed it and got something great out of it, because I certainly did. I want to thank you all for joining us and for watching. Don't forget to hit the notification so that you know each time that we go live. Again, I am Dr. Tiffany Slater, the CEO of HR TailorMade, the HR solution for small businesses. Be sure to schedule your 30-minute free HR strategy session. Go to hrtailormade.com to do that. And in the next episode, we will be talking with Christiana Russell of We the Plug. And hey, if you are looking for VC funds, this is a conversation you don't want to miss. That is what they specialize in, preparing you to work with venture capitalists. So until next time, my friends, be kind to yourselves. And thank you so much for joining me.